Hi, Kirsty.
Hi, Amy.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast as the seventh guest.
Thank you for having me.
How are you feeling
Nervous?
about coming on? So for those watching and listening, Kirsty is one of my good friends. She is also my dance teacher and my colleague. She trained professionally as a dancer and is now the owner of her own dance studio, both studios, which we are filming in today. And in the past year, there has just been a huge amount of change for Kirsty, and she has achieved so much. We'll unpack all of that today, but that's all kind of while she's been going through some personal challenges and being a mum to her lovely son, Luca, working a part-time job. There's just been so much that's gone on in the past year. Like, it's incredible. So we'll unpack all of that today, hopefully. But yeah, Kirst, I'm just, obviously I know you pretty well at this point, but I'm just so keen to really delve into more of your backstory as well and kind of what the past year felt like for you. Because I think, I mean, I can say this as your friend, but there was just so much going on last year and you achieved so much and it looked like a really successful year for you, but it'll be really interesting to delve into like what it felt like and what all of those kind of transitions that you were going through felt like and everything. So let's just get straight into it. Okay. So at this point in your life, what does success look like to you?
At this point of my life, I think it's actually such a hard question.
Yeah.
But I think probably this point of my life, but I would say like overall, in like all different stages of my life, I would always come back to happiness and like not the like curated happiness that's like social media and that kind of thing, but like the real deep happiness of like when it's just you and you're in bed at night being like, I feel good, you know?
Yeah.
Like that is like the most important, the most successful, I think, for me.
Yeah.
And I think that comes from doing things that you love, surrounding yourself with people that you love, and then also making sure that you're giving happiness to other people. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's not just about like the selfishness.
Yeah, like what can I take from life and how am I doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like giving back and like seeing the change you can make in other people.
Yeah.
And their happiness.
Yeah. How often do you, I guess, reflect on that question for yourself? Because something we're going to go into is like, Kirsty is the most like go person I think I've ever met. But like you take it in your stride. Like it's amazing. You thrive off of that.
Yeah.
But I guess like how often are you able to kind of like sit back and be like, am I happy right now? Like what are my goals? Like do I need to like pivot or change anything, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think I don't reflect much, but I think also, like you say, it's been very go.
Yeah.
Which I do thrive off of for sure.
Yeah.
But I think I almost don't need to because I just know it.
Yeah. Like intuition, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I feel like it is good to reflect on, and it is also like good to like celebrate the good things that are happening and like the successes.
Yeah.
But I think it is also easy to like just let the happiness be, and then you kind of notice just when it's like the unhappiness.
Yes. And then you kind of feel like you maybe need to change something.
Yeah, for sure.
Because sometimes I do feel that we're kind of in this, I don't know, there's a lot of kind of like emphasis on reflecting now in society and journaling and on unpacking your feelings and how am I feeling. And there's like a lot of focus on that now.
Yes.
Especially for young people, I think. And sometimes actually there is a healthier balance of maybe just not doing as much reflection.
Yeah. I think definitely is good to understand how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Whether that be, I don't know, I guess some people need that, like the journaling and that kind of thing. But as long as you're like understanding of your emotions and happiness especially is important.
Yeah. And I guess like if you feel like you're living in alignment. Yeah. Is that big 100%, for you?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite obvious, I feel like, when that's off.
Totally.
And that's probably what you're getting at about like just the feeling of it. It's like you don't need to write that down, and that's just like a feeling that's quite obvious. Yeah. Really.
Definitely.
Yeah. That was a really nice answer.
Oh, thanks.
So kind of more about your background then, because I really want to focus on, you know, the past year for you and everything that went on. But I think let's just delve into the backstory, because I feel like that's really relevant in terms of like how it set you up for your life now. So you grew up here.
I did.
In Taronga, which is a beautiful part of the world.
It is.
And you went to dance school in Wellington.
Yes.
For a couple years, 2 years, when you were 18. So, Kirsty, I kind of want to talk to you a bit about dance school, because it sounds really intense and amazing, but like really competitive. And I don't have many friends that went through like proper dance school, but I guess like what was your experience of that like, and how do you feel like it set you up for life afterwards? Because it's quite intense training. I mean, the discipline that you need as well is like crazy, like all of that kind of stuff. So what was that like for you?
It was so much fun.
Was it?
I was honestly like probably, I don't know, it was the best. I don't know. I've been very lucky, but it was so fun. But like you say, it was a lot of hard work. I definitely didn't have the uni experience that like a lot of people had with the like partying and the drinking. It was like that was not an option.
Okay.
Especially like for me, I was so like my blinders were on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just like focused, because it's like 9 a.m. to like 3 p.m. like start. So like be like already there probably from like 8:30, just dancing.
Yeah.
That all day, Monday to Friday.
Wow. All different styles?
All different styles.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is challenging in itself. And I didn't dance from when I was little, which made that really hard going into full time, because
you didn't dance?
I didn't. I did gymnastics.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just like danced a little bit at school, and my best friends danced. And so I just like danced with them, but I wasn't trained. I had no technique. So even in my like acceptance letter, it was like, you need to go take ballet.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have no technique. I was like, I know.
Oh, like you would have done like an audition.
I did an audition. Kind of I got in.
Yeah.
I reckon I just got in.
Oh, really?
So I reckon I kind of like started at the bottom when I was like, when I got there.
Right.
Everyone else, like most people who go into dance, is because they've danced. And
True.
I just was like, this is the only thing that like lights my soul on fire, even though I don't have like training for it. There's nothing else that I'd want to do. And so I really worked my butt off.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if I'm going to make this happen, I need to be better. And so I didn't even just do that like 9 to 3 dancing. I would then go to the gym. I would then take other classes after school.
Okay.
Just to like be better.
Yeah.
But then with that, and I say like dance school in New Zealand is like pretty chill compared to overseas, because like we don't have the like intense pressure. However, it's easy to just put that on yourself in that environment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you like talk to other people that had gone to dance school in different countries about your experience, and like it sounded
Totally.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Like the dance industry, like a lot of industries, there is a lot of pressure on how you look as well as how you dance. It's not just about, you know, I think the industry is getting better.
Do you?
Yeah, I think so, especially with artists like Taylor Swift and stuff.
Yeah.
But she's hiring dancers that are of all ages,
100%.
of all sizes.
She's paving the way.
She's paving the way. And it's like, she's not the only one. Like, there are a lot, but it's so cool to see that people are getting hired based on their talent, not just how they look.
Yeah.
Because, can be, pretty soul-destroying.
Yeah. How would that come through in dance school? Like, would it be the teachers, or was it the people that were organizing the dance school? Like, how would that filter through, like, in terms of pressure on you guys?
I think it's so internal.
Oh, okay.
Because you're just staring at yourself in a mirror for 8 hours a day.
Right.
And then you're also being told that you need to do better.
Always.
Yeah.
Always do better, right?
Yeah.
Which I feel like you respond to well.
I do.
You respond really well. Even just you talking about, when I auditioned and when I got in, I knew I needed to be better. And I just worked,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
You actually see that in a really positive way.
Yes, I do.
Rather than being defeatist about it.
Totally.
But obviously that's gonna
take a toll.
Yeah.
And
also maybe alter your perception a wee bit of what's because you are an incredible dancer, but if you're always hearing about the things that you need to improve on.
Totally. Yeah. But I get it from that professional side.
Yeah.
But it can be a lot for sure.
Yeah. How do you feel like dance school kind of set you up for the rest of your life, if it did?
Definitely, I would say that it did. I wouldn't have been able to be a dancer and do what I'm doing now if I didn't go to dance school, because I just wouldn't have had the technique behind me or the confidence in my dance ability, I think, which I think has been the most important part into now where I am now. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you're talking about how a lot of it's kind of internal, what you're feeling, what about the competitive nature of dancing and dance school? Do you think that's again just all coming from your kind of inner world in terms of, because they say comparison is the thief of joy, right?
Totally.
So when you're in an environment like that and it is kind of everyone's kind of pining after the same.
Yeah, I think we were lucky. Again, I think a very Kiwi thing is we were pretty low key about the competitive nature, especially when there's not so many auditions and things that happen in New Zealand. So we weren't actually
we're a bit sheltered.
Yeah, we weren't physically necessarily going after the same jobs.
Yeah,
in that kind of way.
Right. Yeah.
However, I say that it is just that internal thing, because you can be watching your friends and just be like, wow, they're so much better than me.
Especially because there's different styles.
Yeah, but I think that that's what happens then when you get older and understand more about appreciating the individuality of each person and how we move and how we dance and how we express ourselves, and knowing that just because you move differently to the next person doesn't mean it's better or worse.
100%. Such an important thing to understand and realize.
It is. And I feel like that's the
for so many people now, because we're kind of living in a world with social media at our fingertips, it's tricky. But that's cool that it sounds like you kind of knew that going through dance school, deep down you were kind of aware that it was
totally. Yeah.
Which is important.
It is.
When you said there that when you were applying for dance school, you realized that it was one of the only things that set your soul on fire. When did you realize that? When did you come to that kind of epiphany that it's okay, I need to do this?
I think just dancing with my best friend at school, because she had danced forever.
Right.
And she would make me dance. I was like her little plaything. But she's so great. But she did that because she has always been such an encourager, and such she just, I think, also just saw that potential in me.
Yeah.
And was like, you can do it.
That's so cool.
Which is cool.
What a good friend.
I know. She's the best.
Do you want to do a shout out to the friend?
Shout out to Kelsey.
Oh, is it Kelsey?
Yeah.
I didn't want to assume.
Yeah.
Oh,
shout out to KJ Studios.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it sounds like you had a really positive experience, which is great to hear.
I did.
And then straight after dance school, you went to work on the cruise ships. Is that right?
Pretty soon after, yeah. I worked a random job at Disney World in Florida. So that's where I got to audition. So because I was already living in America, just working a random job at Disney World.
No way, I didn't know that.
Yeah, as a lifeguard. So random. They love Kiwis and Aussies as lifeguards because we can swim. So random.
That is cool.
Yeah. But so while I was there, I had a friend who was like keen to go to auditions and stuff too. So he would drive me. And I auditioned, I got in, which was like such a good like transition because like I said, like there's barely any auditions that come to New Zealand. And then when they do, it's like so hard.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Because we're just so far away from everything as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was like just the right timing.
Cool. And so you went straight to America, basically. You were just like, for that reason to kind of try and get on the ships, or was it just to kind of
wanted to be overseas and just do something? Yeah. I definitely did still want to dance. That was still like my priority, but I just didn't want to be stuck in New Zealand. Yeah. In that sense.
Well, this is the interesting thing, right? A lot of us Brits are now coming over here.
Yeah.
And then Kiwis are all going to Australia.
Yeah.
And then Aussies are going to, like, you know, I think the grass is always greener. But yeah, I've heard that a lot here. It's just like if you grow up in New Zealand, it is just the most stunning country. But a lot of young people just kind of feel like they need to go out and see.
For sure. And I always knew that I'd come back because it is so beautiful.
Yeah.
I think I always knew that.
Yeah.
But also good to see the world.
Oh, 100%.
Because like you say, we're so far from everything.
I know. It's crazy. So cruise ship life.
Yeah.
What was that like? I don't really have many contacts. No, I mean, I've heard stories over the years and it sounds like full on. We've obviously spoken about it a little bit. It's just like a bit of a bubble, isn't it?
It's such a bubble. It's so funny. The drama.
Oh my God.
It's so intense.
Did you do like any reality TV shows on cruise ships?
I don't think for ships, just the yachts.
The below deck.
Below deck, yeah.
They should totally do one.
But yeah, because
cruise ships.
On the ships that I was on, the really big ones, they had, I think, 4,000 guests and 2,000 crew.
Nuts,
so 2,000 of us living underneath. The ship.
Oh, you live like under.
Yeah, and basically like under the water.
Oh,
that's where like
that's scary.
The crew cabins are.
Like I'm gonna fear even hearing that. It's like
really?
Titanic.
Yeah, one time in like sometimes leaving Shanghai, the waves were like quite gnarly, and you'd be like sitting like I'd be in like the guest area like eating my food, and the back of the ship was like all glass like this, and then you just see like the waves be like
oh my God, no.
But the ships were so big, so like it could handle it, but it was a bit like,
no, that's terrifying. Whoa. Yeah. Wow, 2,000 crew.
Yeah.
Suppose you wouldn't even know. You would probably have like your own little bubbles of like,
especially like your cast, of performers. But we were lucky on those big ships that there were so many different casts because there was the ice skating cast, there was the divers, the synchronized swimmers, and like another dance cast, and
huge.
Yeah, which was really cool.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Did you stay on that same ship the whole time?
No.
That you were working? No.
No, I did. So I did 4 contracts.
Yeah.
I did 2 of them I repeated.
Oh, yeah.
Essentially 3 of them were like basically the same ship. Mm-hmm. But so they were all mostly in the Caribbean, and then one I did in Asia. So cool. Which was cool. But yeah, the drama is like so funny.
Is it?
Yeah.
So you would have been what, 22 at that point? Yeah. Is it like a lot of kind of people in their early 20s, or does it vary?
It kind of varies. It's definitely in the like casts of like the performers.
Yeah.
Definitely from that like 20 to 35.
Right.
Max, I'd say, really. Okay. That kind of range. A lot of early 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what were your like working patterns? What does it, because it's
so chill.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'd have to do like, I don't remember, like drill. So we'd have to, that was like, and that felt like the worst thing ever, that we'd have to like go every time there was like turn around and like stand at our like evacuation point with like all the guests to like wait for the spiel of the safety. And that felt like honestly like the biggest drag.
Yeah.
But like that was the only like kind of performing
yeah,
job
part. Yeah.
part, I guess, part of the job.
Yeah.
Which did feel like the worst thing. And then we just have like free time. We'd have to go to the gym. It was in our contract to go to the gym 5 hours a week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We also had monthly weigh-in photos.
Really?
Yeah, it was in our contract to not fluctuate within 5 kgs.
What? Is that normal? That's normal in that industry, is it? Still?
I think so. I would say so, because it used to be scales.
Well, I'd be out.
It used to be scales, but I think they're not allowed to do that anymore. So now it's photos.
Oh, wow.
Or it was then. It might have changed now. But yeah. And so they would.
Interesting.
And so they would like contact the dance captain if they thought someone was like putting on a bit too much weight and be like, you need to tell them they need to go to the gym more and do more cardio.
Oh. That is really quite intense, isn't it? I suppose it's a whole different world. Like,
yeah. But they do have to be careful with what they say, which is good.
There's different ways to say it. Yeah.
There is, yeah. But also I feel like you're like, oh, well, I know what you mean. You're telling me I need to increase my cardio. Fuck.
Rude.
Yeah.
Wow. So how did life feel like at that point? Because I guess like, yeah, it is a bubble. And like, was Instagram a thing back then?
It was, but I feel like we weren't like heavily on socials, especially like on the ship, like unless you pay so much money, we don't have internet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You have to pay for it. It's so expensive.
On cruise ships?
Yeah. Because you're just like on the ocean most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just never bothered getting like a SIM card for like wherever I was, because you can go to a cafe and just get like the Wi-Fi.
Right.
So when you see people get off ships here, they come and try to sit at a cafe and use the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Yeah, because usually they don't have it on board.
Yeah, fair.
And sit and download like your Netflix series and stuff.
Yeah, that'd be quite nice.
Yeah, I actually do think that was quite nice.
Yeah.
That side of it.
To have just like the separation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I feel like that almost creates the bubble even more.
Yeah.
Because you're just like really living with these people. And you live with them, like the contracts were like 7 months at a time. And mostly all the cast would be on the same like time. So you're just like living with mostly the same people for like 7 months.
Wow, that's quite a lot.
It is a lot.
But you would presumably like bond really well with with your team.
Yeah, there'd always be a lot of tears leaving.
Yeah.
Because they become like your ship family.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, which was nice.
And you were you doing like the dancing on the ice skates, I recall?
Oh, I had to do the How to Train Your Dragon show, and I was in a head, which was the weirdest job of my life, I think. I was like the old grandma in How to Train Your Dragon narrating the ice skating show. So like a Disney character, but it was like DreamWorks. And so I had to learn how to skate. But not only was I skating, but I could only see like out of these 2 tiny nose holes.
I love this story.
And the lighting was like so dark because it's like How to Train Your Dragon. It's just like so intense. And I like couldn't see anything. I'm just like, lucky I had like a stick since I was an old woman, saved my life.
That is so good.
But it was fun. And the ice skaters were really nice. But they like fling me around sometimes. And sometimes I was like, I'm going to die.
Yeah. Like, oh my God.
Like, you better have me. But they were so talented.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing.
They're insane, yeah.
It really freaks me out, the ice skating. I don't know why. It's just
that's
the blades.
Fair. Yeah, that's so fair.
Like if I fell over and like somebody
I know. That's what I was so scared of, falling over in my massive costume. She was like hunchback, big belly. It was like a whole thing. I should find a photo.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Did you feel happy at that point of your life? It sounds like you did.
Definitely.
But I guess this is where like the interesting nuances about success comes in, because it's like that life was so different to your life now.
Definitely.
But like you could be equally as happy.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Like
I think I got to the point of wanting to get out of the bubble.
Right.
Yeah. And also it doesn't seem like a big deal looking back on, but for my last contract, there was like always a track that I wanted, which kind of feels like nothing, but I had worked there for like coming up 4 years.
Yeah.
And I just really wanted that track, which in my head now, it makes no difference to anyone's life. But
when you say track, what do you mean?
so every dancer is given a track.
Right.
And so like that kind of defines where you are in the show, who you are in the show.
Ah, okay.
So you could be like track 1, 2, 3, 4. Like all the dancers are given a track.
Right.
And that's just like, so you just do the same show over and over again for that contract.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And so there was a track that I wanted that I was never given.
Right. Why?
So when I had a meeting when I was like in rehearsals one day, because I always was like the wardrobe coordinator, you get paid more money to like wash the clothes, like that's fine.
Yeah.
So in that interview, they're like, is there anything else you want to ask? And I was like, why did I never get that track? Like you've given it to a new hire that's like you've never met before. Like obviously you've seen dance from videos, but like you know me. Why didn't I get that track? Like, I wanted it.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, well, if we knew you were going to lose some weight and get hair extensions, we would have. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, I think I'm done with you.
Oh, that is just brutal.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel? I mean, presumably not great, but like
I was fuming.
What?
Yeah. Fuming.
God, it's quite a brittle industry.
Yeah.
But you are very good at compartmentalizing. Have you been able to just kind of like,
definitely,
I guess, yeah.
I think that was kind of the moment that I was like, oh, like a kind of just like good reminder that I'm just a number to them, even though I'd like worked for them for years.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, well.
That's why you've always got to look after number one, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because in these like big companies, these big projects, it's just,
yeah,
that is a rubbish feeling.
But I think that's almost, why I just was like, oh, I'm done.
Yeah.
Because like, I'm going to.
Did your time.
I did my time. It was so fun.
Yeah.
Like the people I got to meet and stuff was insane. That was definitely like a bit more of a like party era.
Yeah. How often would you like mingle with the guests?
Not much with the guests.
Oh, okay.
Just with each other.
Yeah. You're hilarious. Oh, so that sounds. I am just like so interested in that life. I think it's like because my brother works on yachts as well, and it's just like the stories from him. It's just so. It's just a whole other, almost like a whole other world.
And the stereotypes that you hear are true. Like the officers, have got the like walk around their stripes on their shoulders. They literally walk around like they're like running the show.
Well, yeah, because I guess in their world they are, right?
Yeah,
like,
kind of gives me the ick, but like also at the same time, like they do end up with like the hot dancers and have their wives at home. Yeah,
scandalous.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they definitely need to create a reality show on cruise ships if that's not already a thing.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be quite similar to.
It would be similar
to Below Deck, but So okay, so then we're coming up to like mid-20s, and you decide that you want to move back to Tauranga.
Yes.
And you opened a coffee car.
Yeah, random.
Well, Kirsty does love her coffee. My God, true. To be fair, but. Okay, so you open a coffee car and you start teaching at Altitude, which is a pole and dance studio here in Maunganui. How did that transition feel, right? Because we've talked about how that's a completely different world. You're used to like all the kind of routines that go with that. Yeah. Like, this is my life.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not going to lie, reality hit me like a ton of bricks.
Right.
And I cried a lot.
Did you?
Yeah. Because I think because I also went into the industry so young, I didn't realize how good I had it. And then I also came back in the sense of how good I had it, but also how behind I was almost, because you are in that bubble. And I came back and I was like, oh my gosh, I've just been living my best life, which absolutely was super fun. And I was just like earning US dollars and blowing it. Which like no regrets, but like also like I came back to reality and I was like, oh no.
Oh really?
Yeah.
In what sense? Like, was it the kind of the comparison thing of looking around and being like,
100%.
oh my goodness, the kind of women that are my age are doing this, that, and that. Interesting.
It was totally the comparison, because obviously when I was on ships and I like wasn't really on social media, I was like so fine. And then it was that comparison that killed, because I came back and I was like, I got a job in a cafe and I was like, like that's when I decided to open the coffee cart, because I was like, well, I need to be doing more than just working in a cafe.
Right.
Which now seems so stupid, because I'm like, I then did get to the point, because then I was like talking to one of my friends one day who is a lawyer.
Yeah.
And
The women in London, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was talking to her about it, and how can I be in my mid-20s and just like work in a cafe? And she was like, but do you care? And I was like, no. But I was like, but like, you're like a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, but I don't care what you do. I like you for you. And I was like,
yeah. Yeah.
whoa.
The right people will,
Yeah.
that's the...
Because like it was the comparison in my own head. It wasn't like coming from anyone
Always.
else, you know?
Always.
And then I was like, oh my gosh, you're so right. Because like, would I care if she wasn't a lawyer and she worked in a cafe? No.
Nope. No, it's got to be what's right for you.
Yeah.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
And I suppose like you would have been going through, well, obviously like such a huge transition, but also just like kind of like an ego death of like who you were
Totally.
in that world, in that time.
Yeah. Such a good way to put it.
And then you're in like such a different environment. It's kind of like, who am I now?
100%.
If I'm not Kirsty in this context.
Yes.
Which is actually really emotionally turbulent, I think, for somebody to go through.
Yeah.
You know? And it's a fairly, as in like, that always has happened, but I would say like society is changing now, where it was like way more common to just maybe like come out of school, college, uni, whatever, and do the thing. And then you do the thing.
Yeah.
Until you retire and you are that person. And now I would say like people in our kind of generation, it's more like kind of sometimes to our detriment, but it's more like there is space to do other things and move on. But then it's like we're all kind of just
Yeah.
you know?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is good to figure out, I guess, coming back to that like happiness. What makes you happy?
Yeah.
And doing that instead of just like, worrying about what you should be doing.
100%. So was that the main incentive to do the coffee cart then?
100%.
Was this feeling of like I need to
be doing something better.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you happy working in the cafe though, in that job? Like
kind of.
Yeah.
I do think it was like, for me, I definitely couldn't just sit in that. Like
so it was a transition.
It was a transition.
Yeah, as well.
Yeah. I definitely needed to change, but I think in hindsight would have been better off just to sit in it to figure out what I actually wanted to do instead of just like jumping.
Do you feel like you jumped a bit?
I jumped, yeah.
Okay. How long did you have the coffee cart?
I think I had it for 2 years.
Did you?
Yeah. But like you said before, I was also teaching at altitude.
Yeah.
As well. So
yeah. Did you understand when you were kind of going through that emotional phase of like crying a lot? Did you understand what you were feeling at the time? Or were you just feeling it and kind of going through it? If you know what I mean, like, did you know that it's because, oh gosh, I've come back, I've stepped out this, okay. Yeah.
And I remember like crying to my mum, being like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Yeah. Like I don't have any kind of plan. And I was like, freaking out.
Yeah. It's a very scary feeling.
It is a scary feeling. But I think that's also good to go through.
Oh, yeah.
To then be able to figure out what it is you want to do.
Yeah. But I suppose that requires you to sit in it. Yeah. If you know, because the world is full of distractions now. It's so easy to just ignore that kind of feeling rather than just being like, okay, what do I really want? It's such a hard question to answer. I think a lot of us are asking ourselves that a lot of the time. Again, because of this comparison thing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, finding ways to block out that external noise and just focus on like.
Yeah. Because it's an interesting concept to think about. Imagine you did keep going on the cruise ships because you just wanted to do that. Would you ever really know the difference? Like if you hadn't come out of it?
Yeah.
Would you have ever gone through that feeling of like, I'm not doing as well as other people, because you wouldn't have seen it as much? Obviously you would have had your time off.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't have really been thinking about it. It's such a...
Definitely not, yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely going through that at the moment as well. I'm just trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing, but I'm trying to sit in it. I'm trying to sit in it.
It's
right?
good too.
It is uncomfortable, but it's necessary.
It is necessary, and I think that is that's the pivotal moment.
Yeah.
And as much as that's the uncomfortable moment, that's the one that is going to make the next thing better.
Exactly. Interesting. Okay, so we're in coffee cart time. You're now teaching at Altitude. And then after a year of teaching, you went on to become the manager there.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And then you obviously fell pregnant.
Yes.
In 2022 with your little baby boy, Luca, who's the cutest.
The cutest.
I know everybody says that, but it's like he is just the cutest.
Yeah.
Again, I guess like that transition as well, Kirsty. Like I know that you adore being a mum.
Yeah.
Just to touch on a little bit of like how, because there was a lot of like mini transitions as well through that time.
Yeah.
It sounds like, you know. Again, how did that feel at the time? Obviously becoming a mum is just like the most beautiful thing.
Yeah. I always knew that I wanted to be a mum.
Yeah.
So I was like so excited to have him. And that was the moment that I then like sold the coffee cart, because I was like, I've got better things to do.
yeah.
But also because I had become like manager of Altitude, I just like knew that kind of chapter was done. But and I was like ready to focus on being a mum and having a little boy. And it was so good, as much as that came with its like challenges as well, just about like kill the relationship, but was also like he's like the best thing ever. So
as in killed the relationship with your
then partner.
Yeah. I mean, you do hear this. I actually feel, well, I'm not in that stage of my life, but you do kind of hear like of people talking about, you know, it can be such a stress as well, having a child on a relationship.
And I think that then also, I wish more people did talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like the negatives of like having a baby, but I think, because I think like people can be so negative about having babies, which I also don't get, because like there's so much positives, but sometimes people just focus so much on the negatives about like having babies. But I'm like, they're like amazing. They're also like the best things that will ever happen to you and give you like the best perspective on life ever.
Yeah.
But the relationship side of things, and I think social media paints such a false picture of like the happy family dynamic.
When like I've kind of heard that, you know, having a child in the majority of cases will amplify what's already going on in the relationship. It's not oftentimes going to be the plaster over whatever's going on.
Yeah.
Right. But I guess like with anything, you just we would put up the highlights and that's all. And it would be so, I can't imagine, it'd be so easy on like, say, one of your like days where everything's just a bit much as a mom or a dad, and you go on and you just see other people seamlessly doing it, and you're just like, what's wrong with me, you know?
Totally. Yeah, it's crazy just seeing the happy families that which obviously I'm sure are moments for everyone, and like we did too have those like happy moments, but then also there is a lot of like, for us there was a lot of like relationship stress that happened over that time. And I think then I don't know, you don't see that, especially in that like pregnancy phase. I don't know, everything online seems like so happy. But I think like there also is so many different relationship dynamics that can be happy, that are different, but it just isn't like shown.
What do you mean by that?
I think because people can choose to have a baby by themselves. I actually think that like, this shows my age, but I think watching Friends is more important than people think. And the relationships that shows is so real life. Because it shows.
And you mean the sitcom?
Yeah.
All right. I was unsure. Yeah. Oh, we love Friends.
We love Friends.
Yeah.
But like, and I think I haven't really realized, because I watched that just like as a
same
late teens, early 20s. Like I watched that so much, or actually even like would still watch it now if they'd take it off. But anyway,
Hmm.
they need to bring that back.
It's the best.
It's the best.
Timeless.
It's absolutely timeless. But, you know, the relationships they show, like, Phoebe had a baby for her brother.
I see what you're saying.
Then, like,
yeah.
Rachel had the baby, like, by herself.
Yeah.
And then, like, Ross's ex-wife became a lesbian and they kind of had the baby together.
Yeah.
But, like, so no one,
so true.
yeah, no one was the perfect family.
Yeah.
Which I think shows that, like, true dynamic, which I think is also maybe why that was so successful, because people can relate to it. And it was obviously done in, like, such a clever, lighthearted, funny way, but also was, like, so real.
That is actually so true.
Do you know what I mean?
And it's, yeah, I think we're seeing that more and more now, and that's what it's like, the acceptance of it.
Yeah.
It's like, that's okay.
It's
like,
okay.
life happens.
Yeah.
Like, who was Rachel? Sorry, this is so, like, we digress, but, like, Rachel's baby daddy, who was that? Ross? I was like just sitting there, like, yeah, okay, they had, yeah. What a couple.
I know.
I love Friends. They need to bring it back.
Yeah, they need to bring it back.
Because there's like that viral video on TikTok about, like, you know, it's like if you're questioning yourself in your 20s or 30s, like, they were, I think they, you know, their characters were supposed to be like late 20s when they started shooting Friends.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you can chill out. Like, again, same thing. Like,
Totally.
everyone's got their own timeline.
Exactly.
It is the comparison thing that gets
it is
most of us.
Yeah.
And I think even like with me moving here, I mean, I've swung between extremes as well, but
yeah.
I'm sure like my life on paper when I was back in the UK, like on paper it was great. I wasn't particularly happy, but people would have thought that probably seeing my stories and my posts on
100%.
Instagram. And the same thing here, like I've had like many people message me and be like, you know, your life looks amazing now, and you know, it's great here, but there's also like definitely days where I'm questioning everything, and it's just like it's something I really want to, and I have been like trying to focus on with each guest, is like peeling back that layer and just having the authentic kind of chat about the fact that life is messy.
Yeah.
And we're all often thinking the same thing and doubting ourselves and doubting our decisions about the way that we've decided to do life. Yeah. And that is
making it up as we go along.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we are.
So I actually love that analogy that you've just drawn to Friends.
Yeah.
And it's just made me think there that I need to stick on an episode because I've not watched it. It's such a feel good
It's so wholesome.
series.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it just celebrates the messiness of life, I guess.
It does.
Okay, love the backstory. 2, such a big year for you, which was all of last year, really. Yeah. So in terms of our friendship, so I moved to here in November 2024, and in the gym that I was in at the time, I was like really like, where are the dance classes here? Because I didn't really ever feel like I had time to dance, which is you always have time. But like in the UK, when I was going through uni and then when I was working, it was just always on the back foot, like getting to a dance class. And then came here and heard of heels classes that were going on, and I was so excited. And that was when you were running your intensive workshops.
Yeah.
So you were still the manager of Altitude, and then you had set up. Did I come to your first intensive workshop?
It was my first intensive, yeah. I had done like little workshops, like here and then, probably from October. Yeah. And that was in January, I think.
January 2025.
Yeah, January 2025. And that was my first like intensive that I just thought I'd give a go. Yeah. And yeah, you joined it.
Oh my God. It was so amazing. And it was like 5 or 6 classes I think we did. Yeah. And at that point, for everyone kind of watching and listening, so Bowl Studios as it is now, like you didn't exist. No, it didn't exist. And you had you, well, we were kind of in the talkings of it all at the start of it, but at that point, but
yeah, nearly. Yeah. I think I was still just like figuring that out and what I wanted that to be.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just running it from like my own name.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course, Kirsty dances.
Yeah.
Did you, I mean, we'll talk about the kind of like stages of last year, but did you ever see yourself like years ago running your own
No.
studio? No.
No, I didn't think that that would be a possibility.
Why? I mean, it's a very hard thing to do,
Yeah.
you know, but
I think imposter syndrome, probably.
right.
You know, just being like, well, why would I be able to do that?
Really?
Yeah.
I suppose a lot of us feel like that.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
I think also now the way I feel and view that kind of thing is I think we all need to come back to remembering why we are individual and that we have so much to offer individually, and just because someone else could do it doesn't mean you also can't do it.
Exactly.
And we all have different things to offer in within the same space.
Yeah. Life is so varied. Like it's,
Yeah.
we're all good at different things.
Exactly.
Everyone's got strengths.
Yeah. And even if it is the same thing, it's still different because
It's you.
it's you. Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of people go through life putting pressure on themselves to be a different type of person.
I know. Where the power comes from in being authentically you.
Yeah. 100%, and amplifying that.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
I think in terms of like a tidbit that I can give on that from my own life is like I am very type B. But I really try and be type A. And I think I've maybe mentioned this before, but it's just like I'm in this constant battle with myself to try and be more type A. And like I can, but it's a struggle. Like I'm not naturally type A. And I think like I'm gonna try and just give myself a bit more grace for being type B because it allows me to be the person that I am.
Exactly. And the strengths that come with that
Yes.
that a type A person just could never.
Just couldn't do.
Yeah.
But I'm just so, I don't know why, but I'm just so fixated on being, it's probably my training as a lawyer, like kind of draws people in that are very kind of type A, but that's the same thing. It's the same thing. I even had that thought this morning. I was like, oh my God, I just need to chill out because I beat myself up so much for not being kind of like naturally orderly or organized or kind of, you know, that way inclined.
Yeah.
And like, that's fine.
It's fine.
And again, it's the same thing. Like the people who love me are not gonna love me because I'm,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's just my inner world telling me that.
Exactly.
So that's really, really cool that you understand that so fully about yourself. And obviously, there's been a lot of growth from you thinking a few years ago, like, why would I be able to own my own studio to now?
Yeah.
And it's doing so well.
Yeah.
It is so inspiring.
Thank you.
So, okay, so let's talk to people about, so you're running your intensives, they're going really well.
Yeah.
Kirsty is an incredible dance teacher, by the way, just for the record.
Thank you.
So I remember actually the one of the first conversations about Bo when we were all chatting in a group. And that's when I feel like the ideas started to pop up for you.
Yeah. I didn't expect the workshops to like do so well as they did.
Right. Again, probably imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe. Yeah. But every single one was fully booked. And that kind of, I guess, was like, oh, whoa, maybe I could do this. And then I kind of, I guess, put the idea out to like a few of you after classes and just like general chat.
Yeah.
Just as like such a idea at that point.
Yeah.
But then you all kind of just like,
please do this.
Jumped on the bandwagon and was like, no, you actually should. And I was like, oh, wow. Yeah. They think I can. That's actually huge.
So key. Yeah. The people you have around you, we know that, right? It's the saying of like, you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But my God, is it important?
Totally.
Can you imagine if you didn't have that kind of like support or people being like, don't know, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that?
I know.
Rather than just doing it and figuring it out, which is what you're really good at doing. But oh my God, it's everything. It's like, it's just an echo chamber, isn't it?
Yeah. Definitely.
So do you feel like that was pivotal at the time for you to go
100%,
on? And
yeah, because then I had to quit my full-time job at Altitude, which is the scariest thing ever.
Yeah.
To just be like, well, my income is like not going to be consistent, and it's so out of my control.
God. So what were you feeling, Kirsty, at that time? Would you say it was mainly fear? I suppose it's sometimes feels the same as excitement, doesn't it? But like, what were you feeling, and how did you manage to like work through that and not give in to presumably the kind of voice in your head that was telling you to kind of retreat back into comfort?
Yeah, I definitely knew that I was ready to step away from altitude anyway.
Yeah.
As much as I loved that community, and obviously that community did make me realize that like how much I loved like this kind of industry of like women and confidence, and that was something I was really passionate about. But then, yeah, I guess because it was a like pole studio, essentially, I actually didn't do pole, so it wasn't like it didn't feel like it was my industry necessarily. And so I was like, oh, I've been doing these heels dance things that does feel like my thing, and they're doing well, so I could create my own community doing the thing I love the most. And I think I had already, from the whole like coffee cart era, I had realized that even if I quit that job, I would be so happy to go work in a cafe.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I totally let go of that ego.
Oh, how good.
Yeah. And so I kind of had in my head, well, this is the thing that I actually feel so good about. I just need to give it a go. If it doesn't work, that's fine, but at least I tried.
Yeah.
So there was no ego behind that decision, which helped so much.
I was just going to say that I think that's absolutely key to go to the potential, I guess, quote unquote, worst consequence of like, okay, if this doesn't work, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Not only just like in terms of life and like having enough to sustain yourself, but I'll be fine in my view of myself.
Yes. Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, if I end up if this does not work and I end up working in a cafe, that is good too. So you define in a sense the rock bottom or the place that you could end up getting to.
Yeah, which like on no shade on people who just like who do like work in cafes, and
Absolutely not.
That's what they love doing. Like totally not. But that is kind of like an easy industry to go into, especially in like Mount area and stuff.
Yeah. But that's the thing, like when I was working as a lawyer in London, all I wanted was to like work in a cafe. Do you know what I mean? Like that was my because I was really stressed at the time, and I didn't feel like I was living in alignment. And I would watch people that were happy working
100%,
in a cafe
which
or a
is,
coffee
I think,
shop.
also where I was like, that also would be great because you can go to work, do the job, and leave and switch off.
Yeah.
Which I feel like does also in itself bring a lot of happiness, especially
100%.
in that like comparison to like lawyer life where you're just like
always on,
which, dealing with like really intense situations, really intense people.
Yeah. Which some people thrive off of and some people don't.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like whatever everyone's got a different kind of like floor in terms of, but I do find that really interesting. And I think like, as you've said, like, I think just defining what could happen if it did go wrong is key.
Yeah. And being okay with that.
Yeah. And I think if you don't do that, sometimes, the brain tends to catastrophize, as we all know.
Yeah. And I also didn't want to put pressure on it having to work and like pushing sales, because I was like, that is so not what this is about.
No.
This is so like for the love of it.
Yeah. It's actually a very good point. You haven't ever pushed it like that. I think it's the like for like energy thing. You want to come?
Exactly.
You don't?
Exactly.
Yeah. I've kind of tried to do the same thing with this podcast, which is different. I think we've talked about the difference between awareness, brand awareness, and then like obviously like selling it.
Yes.
Like awareness is key, but
definitely.
Yeah.
People have to know you exist.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, amazing. So that kind of gave you the feeling of like, I can do this and I can go for this.
Yeah,
and you did.
Yeah.
By the way, like, I mean, it was a very short time scale between you really getting the idea in your head and you just going for it.
Totally was.
Wow. Okay. So really cool to hear about what your kind of inner dialogue was like at that point. So then you set up Bo in April. No. Yes.
We launched the brand in May.
In May.
And then the classes started at the beginning of June.
In June.
Yeah.
How does it feel now looking back on that kind of time? Because I mean, it's like Bo Studios has grown and is growing really rapidly.
Yeah.
We were just saying before we started filming that like that time feels like a
lifetime ago.
But
yeah, but also like not that long
but
ago.
not.
Yeah. So weird. Time is such a weird concept.
Yeah.
A weird thing. But yeah, looking back now, I'm like, why was I so scared? But also I think timing is everything as well, because like I don't think it would have worked if I tried to do it any sooner, because I wouldn't have been ready and in that right mindset, I think. You know?
Yeah. You got it. Well, you couldn't have forced it.
Couldn't have forced it.
You know?
It needed to just, happen naturally.
Yeah. I suppose now, like, as well, I mean, you own the coffee cart, so that was kind of you owning your, like, small business, but back then, but that transition also to becoming, like, a business owner, and you're doing all of this. I mean, you've had, obviously help along the way, but majority has been, like, all you on your own. Your face, well, your face isn't on the on the sign, but like you are Bo Studios, right?
I am.
How have you navigated, I guess, stepping into that kind of more like leadership type role? Like, how have you struggled with that at times along the way? Has it felt natural to you?
It's felt super natural.
Nice.
Yeah. I think just because like you say, I am Bo Studios.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it really easy, because there's nothing forced or no expectation that I have to meet. I can just
set it yourself.
I can just do me and kind of just like do what I want. Yeah.
Which some people again respond well to.
Yeah.
Which I feel like you really do. How would you, because I'm hoping a lot of the Bo gals will be watching this and listening to it when it comes out, but for people that I guess don't have any kind of experience of dancing, have never gone to a dance class, like just don't know what it would involve, like how would you describe like what we do at Bo Studios and what you kind of want to achieve like running something like Bo Studios?
I just want to achieve community. And I think that it's so much more than just dancing. In fact, I'm just like, if you come and you aren't very good at all, or you don't get like barely any of the moves, but if you had fun, then like perfect.
Yeah.
That's like the goal, is just like have a good time, make some friends, and like build the confidence.
Yeah.
Because I think coming to a new place and doing something new, especially if you haven't danced before, is so scary. But I think also everyone does need to find like their thing.
Yeah.
And I think that is so important, to like find your community and be constantly built up by other people as well. And I think there is so much power in this kind of industry or like studio vibe that I'm trying to create, is like, I'm not trying to make you a professional dancer. If you end up doing a show and that is so important and it is so rewarding, then that's amazing. But if you also come every week and you find that your confidence in yourself, in your life, is getting better, then that's the dream.
That's the dream.
Yeah, it's so important, I think, for women to sometimes step out of that comfort zone a little bit, to be able to step into a new comfort zone of being comfortable in their bodies, in their skin, of just like how they are, and being able to support other women is really important as well. Yeah.
That's actually such a good point. That's the other side of it. Like
Yeah.
actually opening up the capacity in yourself as a woman to feel that love and support for
Yeah, like
others.
genuinely, and not have any of um
The scarcity mindset kind of stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And just, I think, because sometimes I have heard, not from a lot of people, but sometimes I have heard people say, like, how could she wear that?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it's, my initial reaction is like, oh my gosh, I'm so like offended like for that person. And then actually, if you take a step back, you're like, oh no, why do you feel like that?
Yeah.
Because that's so like a reflection of
How you're
you.
feeling.
Yeah.
Right.
Because like we
Well, it's
should
got nothing to do with you,
no.
the person saying it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like that is, I'm like, oh, you need this space
Right.
to realize that we should be able to move how we want to move.
Yeah.
Touch on ourselves how we want to touch ourselves. But
Yeah.
and like wear whatever we want to wear.
So for anyone watching and listening that is wondering, so like Kirsty in the dance classes, a lot of the girls wear like lingerie and really like nice sexy outfits when they're dancing, which is a huge part of it as well because they feel
Yeah.
amazing in the outfits and it brings out the best in
Yes.
them. And it's just like such a celebration of femininity and
Such a
sensuality.
celebration. Yeah.
And I think that's the key. It's the celebration. It's not the
is.
shame of it. It's not
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
the doubt in it. It's the celebration of it.
It is.
Because
we're great.
we're great. Yeah, it's such that point you made about actually opening up the capacity to support others. Like it is such a nice community.
It is.
We were actually talking the other day about how strong is it now? We've got like 100 of us now, something like that. So it's a large community.
I'm honestly so bad at my admin side of things.
No, you're not.
Oh.
But you're on it. But I think we were kind of talking about how there's been no drama.
There's been no drama.
Not one single piece of drama.
I think it has been so cool to see like that happen, especially in the growth with more people.
Yeah.
But I think that we kind of have, right from the get-go, had this like core community.
Yeah.
That has kind of set the standard. And which has been like so great for me. Like I'm so appreciative of people like you and everyone that kind of started right with me from the get-go.
Yeah.
Because other people come to class and you've set the expectation. It's almost like I don't think you all realize how much I don't do, and it actually is you doing it.
What do you mean?
You do it for each other. Like you build the community. Like I think you all think I build the community, but you build it.
Yeah.
And I think that is so amazing for me to see that. Then I don't even need to do that much work in terms of like building other people up.
Yeah.
You're doing it for each other.
Right.
It's not coming from just me.
Yeah.
Which
for
is
the love of it as well.
Yeah. And it's so cool to see that. And I think that that's why there is like no drama, because people come in and there's only celebration.
Yeah.
There really is
like
only
the
celebration. Positive talk. And like, people are like, it's summer, it's hot. And like people are like, well, just take your top off. And then people were like, oh my gosh. And then they do. And then everyone's like, woo. And that's just like normal. And yeah, everyone is just celebrated, which makes everyone feel comfortable and confident and able to celebrate others in the same way.
Yeah. 100%. And if there is like, because everyone's got their different styles, if there is somebody who's like exceptionally good at one style, it's like very inspiring.
Yes.
Rather than, I guess, like invoking feelings of like jealousy or why am I not that good? Totally. Or why am I? It's actually like a very positive, inspiring environment.
It is.
And I think that's kind of what we were saying about like, you are the sum of the people around you. Yeah. Right. And you can actually feel that in the energy in dance class.
Totally.
I think something I'm mindful of as well is like, it's interesting. In the UK, it's way more common for young people to go to dance school. It's kind of just like one of the things that you do as a young person if your parents can afford it, because it's expensive. But in New Zealand, I mean, there's like KJ studios and all the girls there and stuff, but it's not, girls my age, like it's not as common to hear that they've like danced when they were younger.
Yeah.
And I think with dance, in comparison to a lot of other sports, like with a lot of the girls that have asked me about bow, I'll say like, do you want to come along? Like, it's so much fun. And they're like, well, I can. And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, well, I can't dance. And I'm like, yeah, but that's why you go to dance class. To learn how to dance. But for some reason, dance just has this thing for people. And I guess it's like, because like they maybe see the videos online and stuff, and they think the first class I go to, I'm going to have to perform, and I can.
Yeah.
But it is such a brave thing. And so when people come in that are completely new, I kind of like to make a point of just being like, going up and saying like, look, like this is really brave.
Yeah.
And this first class is like
really
the hardest thing that you're probably going to have to break through.
The first class is so scary.
Yeah.
And like full respect. And I think that everyone's like nervous system when they first walk into a new space, whether it's a new gym or whether it's a dance class, you're just like, ugh!
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh my gosh, it is so scary. And I think then that's why I feel confident in the community here, because I know that they're safe.
Yeah.
When they walk in.
Yeah.
With all the people that are here.
Yeah.
Which is so important.
If there's anyone listening to this that really wants to come along to a class but is still like fearful, what would like your best tip be for them to just get over that? Because should we do a shout out to Holly Castle right now? Because Holly, we were working together at the time, and she had seen the videos and really wanted to come along, and she thought about it for a couple months, and then she finally did it, and then she loved it and kept coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have like a tip for anyone, what would it be? I suppose that's kind of a hard question for you, but
it is a hard question, but I think they just need to book in.
Yeah.
Because I think the hardest part, I think, is booking it. Like,
right.
Literally. Because you can sit there and watch me and watch the classes for months, or like some people I think now have just been sitting watching for like over a year and been like, I could never. But like actually you can.
Yeah.
But you just need to come.
Exactly.
So you need to book it, and then you need to walk through the door.
Yeah.
And then
I've just
got
focus
you.
on that.
Do you know what I mean? Like you do those 2 steps, you book it, you walk through the door, and then like we've got you.
Yeah. I think it's almost, I've been thinking about this a lot recently, in terms of like hard things that need to be done in life. Oftentimes it's not the hard thing. Say you need to have like an uncomfortable conversation, or you need to I don't know, whatever it is. It's actually not the thing that you're scared of. It's the consequence, or the potential consequence of it.
So true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And actually, that's why things like journaling and actually talking to a friend and just actually speaking it into existence is good, because it allows you to take the thing out of your brain, which is really, really scary, and actually just be like, oh, this is what it is.
Yeah.
So I can imagine, like, for somebody that's really scared in terms of like coming along to a class, it's probably because their brain is telling them like the worst possible consequence is you know, the catastrophizing thing? It could be like, you're going to go to class and embarrass yourself and just fall on the floor and die and leave, and it's going to be
I'm going to make them do a solo. I'm just going to turn on the music and make them do it by themselves, which like they would never.
Do you know?
Yeah, so true.
And actually, if you really kind of try and articulate the probably the worst consequence, the rock bottom, whatever you call it, of like the thing, it would be probably, you know, performing if you choose to, and maybe feeling a little bit embarrassed because you don't feel like you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
But then you're like,
but you never even have to do anything that you don't want to do. And also I think people think that they have to wear lingerie just because that's what they see a lot of people do, but you can wear anything. It really doesn't matter. And you don't have to wear heels. You can just wear socks.
Absolutely.
You can just come in whatever. It's just like, but it's so cool to then see when people do make that scary step, because I get a lot of people messaging me asking what they have to wear, and I was like,
do you?
Yeah. Which I totally get that from like what people can see on socials. But that's also because like not many people don't, because I think like I had someone yesterday say, well, I've changed in 5 classes, haven't I? Because she first started in full leggings and a like long sleeve, And then yesterday she was in
Right.
undies.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it doesn't take long for that to
No.
change. But also, if that never happens, it also doesn't matter either.
That's also fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a good point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think if you can try and define the consequences as clearly as you can, and then be like, if that happens,
Yeah.
I'll be sweet.
Totally.
Then it gives you that kind of thing of like, I can go.
Yeah.
Rather than just letting your brain
Yeah.
overtake and hijack and just be like, the worst thing ever will happen if I go to this class.
I know. Yeah, because I think like people also will say like, oh, what if I'm like so bad? I'm like,
Okay.
so what?
It's okay.
Like what happens if you are? That's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe you have some fun though.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's also the thing. Like, let's talk about, I guess, dance for you, Kirsty. Like, how has your relationship with dance changed, if at all, over the years?
So much.
Right? Can we talk about that? Because I think fundamentally something that dance has brought back to my life is just fun.
Totally.
Playfulness.
Yeah.
Doing something not for the point of getting to point B.
Exactly.
But actually just enjoying the time between point A and point B.
Which I think is like how dancing as an adult should be. It just needs to be for you and for fun, for no other reason. So there's no like I think obviously it is human nature a little bit to want to get better at something that we're doing.
Yeah.
Just like if you go to the gym, you want to get stronger.
Yeah.
The same thing when you come to dance, you want to get better at dancing, but that is just inevitable.
Yeah.
If you come and you do something consistently, you're just going to get better at it.
Yeah.
But that's not what the focus is on at all.
Nope.
And so that's what I guess has been the amazing transition that I have seen in myself, but then also in like a lot of you that have danced like previously, like growing up and stuff.
Yeah.
Because in that space, there is a lot of pressure on just like being able to do this and being able to do that. Yeah. And being able to be really good.
Yeah.
But there is no emphasis necessarily on actually just doing it for fun.
Yeah.
So I think then that is like been the most amazing thing. And I think for me, coming from the like professional industry of that and with that really intense pressure to like look a certain way, dance a certain way, like in certain ways, that has been something I had to drop my ego with a lot, because I also want to like be the role model, I guess, in that sense for everyone else, of that like, oh, well, sometimes I will like stumble. Sometimes like mine's not going to be perfect. Sometimes I might teach some choreo and like you might do it better, which is like also great.
Yeah.
And I think that like, in fact, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's where we should be at, and just like being able to celebrate the fact that it doesn't need to be perfect.
No.
But if you're just like having a good time and like being in this cool space with these cool women, then that's like the most important thing. And then I think also the posting on social media side of things as well, because even for me, that has been like a really big change and growth from being back in the thick of the industry.
Yeah.
It's like I would barely post anything because I would be like, oh, it's not very good.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
But now,
compared to who, I guess. Well,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Compared to who? That's
it.
literally the whole point. Because now I just like, I don't think twice, and I'll just like post literally anything. And then that has like set a really like cool standard of also everyone else like posting like anything and everything.
Yeah.
And it's so inspiring for other people to see that.
Yeah.
And that we can be like celebrating each other, and it be like a really cool dance, or maybe it's like not as cool, but like fun. Yeah.
And just like release it. I always think about like releasing it to the wind. Like, just like, you know, when you post the dance and you're like, you know, it's people will think what they want or say what they want, and maybe it wasn't perfect, and you're absolutely not going to be as good as a professional, you know, dancer who's danced but you know, it's still good to me. And you know?
And I had so much fun doing it.
Yeah. Such a good point.
Yeah.
Because when I first started bowl, I did dance all the way up till I was about 18 and I loved it, but then I kind of stopped. And so this is the last year that I've picked it back up. But it was like a period of like the first 6 months I didn't post.
I know.
Because of that same thing. It
I
was like,
know.
I'm not good enough
I
to
know.
post it. Why would people want to watch my videos, which kind of is a bit silly, really, because people follow your Instagram to see your life or whatever, you know. It's your
Totally.
story,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just and actually the learnings that have come from me having to sit in the initial uncomfortability of posting my dance videos and being like, I wonder what people will think.
Exactly.
And then it's the same thing with like the brain catastrophizing. Your brain kind of tells you like, you're going to get judged for this and this awful
Yep.
thing is going to happen if you do this.
I know.
And then you do the hard thing and you're like, oh.
Oh, it was fine.
Yeah.
Nobody died.
Nobody died. And also actually been very positive response.
Yeah.
And it's inspiring for other people. And I think it's just about breaking that barrier. And I think that's what
100%.
kind of Bow Studios does bring to a lot of women. It's, as you said, it is about the dancing, but it's also not taught.
Yeah. 100%.
It's about the learnings that you can take from everything else and stepping into your own kind of energy.
Exactly. And letting that be your power.
Yeah.
It's like your own individuality and how you want to express yourself.
Yeah. And I think the point there, Kirsty, about perfectionism it's just so key. I mean, do you struggle with perfectionism? Like, have you had perfectionist tendencies in your life, or?
I think definitely in that like dance school professional area.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think like once I then kind of like set that aside.
Yeah,
Because even so, like coming up with like the choreo.
literally. She's a wizard.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But like I don't have a lot of time.
No.
And I would have definitely not enough time to make it perfect. But then it's also like reminding myself, like in the dancing, but also in that creation of the classes.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's not about it being perfect.
No.
It actually is just about doing something.
Doing something. Well, that kind of, I want to just put a bit of a spotlight on, I guess we're kind of speaking about it now, but like in the particular time of your life when you just set up Bow,
Mm-hmm.
you were running all the classes on your own,
Mm-hmm.
you were a mum, you were working, we were colleagues, we were working together in a store. I think you were working like almost like 25 hours a week at that point. Then you decide to create a showcase,
Yeah.
which happened in November last year, and it was amazing, and it sells out. It was like incredible. I think a spotlight on that time of your life is important to focus on, because I have honestly never really seen somebody manage so much busyness and kind of, I guess, chaos in terms of how many things were going on, like so well.
Yeah.
And we have had numerous conversations about this where I'm like watching you being like, how are you doing this? But I think it is that very thing of like just getting it done and moving forward and not overthinking things and just being
Not
like,
overthinking
just
it
go,
is
just go.
the key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've said this to you before, but I learned so much just from like watching you, right? Because if you had taken even a bit of a step back to just question yourself or doubt it or try and perfect, I mean, you were running like, I can't remember how many at the time, but like several classes a week, and coming up with the choreo for the show and directing it and doing everything else. It was just amazing.
Thanks.
And it taught me a lot about, you know, sometimes it is really just about getting it done rather than doing it perfectly.
Totally. And I think obviously it's comes down to, I guess, prioritizing as well. Like what is the thing that needs like a lot of work and what's the thing that actually you just need to get done? Yeah. Because there are things that do require to be like a little bit more perfect. Yeah. But then that also, you can't do that for everything because there are just not enough hours in the day.
Oh God, no.
There's just not. And so it is just, and then also not like no time for procrastination either.
No.
Like if something needs to be done like for the show, then you just need to do it.
Yeah.
And just like find a way to make that happen. Because also there is a way. if you, like, when there's a will, there's a way,
Yep.
right? So it's
Yep.
like, well, I want this, so how do I get that?
Mhm.
Okay, cool, done.
Mhm.
Go.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the priorities thing is really important.
Yeah.
That's where my brain struggles a bit sometimes.
Yeah. And then I guess the like switching of hats
Yeah.
and just like making sure that's real quick.
Yeah.
Business owner, mum. And then making sure that
Yeah. It doesn't spill over, I guess.
yeah. And then I guess because both parts can be really consuming, it is also making sure, like, just because I run a business and like want that to be successful doesn't mean I let being a parent like slip, because
Right.
like that relationship, being a mum to my son, is also so important.
Yeah.
So then the time that we have together, I want to make sure that's really good.
Right. That was actually my next question, which was like, how do you balance it all? But that's quite telling, because it is just a case of, it's almost like a doctor or a therapist or somebody that has to just compartmentalize.
Yeah.
It's like, we're now here. We're
Yes.
now here.
Yeah.
My focus is here. Like, be here in the now.
In the now. Definitely.
Which is such an important life skill.
Totally. And I think I do still get a lot of like mum guilt in that sense, especially when, I know that there are, because my son is 3, and I know that there was a lot of time in these like first few years, there are mums that are with their kids 24/7. And I'm just like, is he missing out because I'm not with him 24/7? So there is that guilt. I definitely wouldn't say that is like, I'm okay with that all the time. However, I do think in that same breath, I can say the time that me and him have together, like, I'm not on my phone.
No.
We're doing stuff together. I'm like present with him.
Yeah.
And our relationship is super strong.
Right.
And I think that if we were together 24/7, it maybe wouldn't even be like that good, because there is like that side of it too. And then it is also I need to show him that I'm important.
Yeah.
And that when he grows up, he needs to understand that he's important.
Yeah.
And that we need to do the things that we love.
Yeah.
And that, hopefully will be good for him.
Yeah. That reminds me of, like, I guess I was speaking about this on Carla's episode about how, oftentimes we're all kind of focused on the metric of time rather than presence. And it sounds like you've got a good handle on, flipping that and being like, okay, my time might not be as abundant as other people in different situations, but I will make sure my presence is.
Yes.
And that is just like, I'm going through a transition now in my life where I'm trying to flip it. So even with like prep for the podcast, before I'd be like, I need X amount of hours to prep. But then maybe I would take those hours and be like quite distracted and not really be thinking very hard, and just like take the hours because I've given myself the hours to do it, rather than like, I have half an hour and I'm going to give myself half an hour and I'm going to focus intensely.
Yeah.
And I will probably actually, ironically, get more done.
Yeah. Definitely.
Which is so cool.
Yeah.
So that's like learnings that I'm taking from watching you, just be like, well, this is the only time I got to do it, so it's getting done.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. I guess like a follow-up question to that, Kirsty, is like, say, you have something you want to get done and you do it and you feel like you maybe didn't do it as well as you wanted. Are you able to then just kind of like quickly move on from that, not dwell on it too much? Like, does it eat you up a bit? Nah. Yeah, that's cool.
We ain't got time for that.
We ain't got time for that. Right.
And I think as well, then, because in the sense of like, say that was something to do with like the class or a show or something, I will show up to the next class, and if it hasn't bothered anyone else, why should it bother me?
No, let it go.
Let it go. Because most of the time, I think things that I could overthink about, that I could have done better on or whatever, literally no one would have even noticed. So then why does it matter? Because if my worry is about looking a certain way or being a certain thing, like also that doesn't like matter.
We torture ourselves. Well, I do.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. Like, oh, sometimes you can just go so far into that
Yeah. But
mindset
yeah,
of just ruminating over something that,
yeah,
you know, didn't go as you'd planned for it to go, or whatever it is. Like, and even the tiniest things.
yeah. But then I guess I do feel very lucky in the sense of like within like both studios, I feel like everything has gone
That's
really good.
It's gone amazingly.
Yeah.
And it's on that trajectory as well. Right?
Yeah.
Are you able to just kind of like like enjoy it and just like relish in it? I guess like
Enjoy it, yes. I say relish in it, no.
okay.
I say like no time for that
Right.
because then like on to the next thing.
Yeah.
But I think I definitely feel like the show, our first show was like
It was amazing.
And I definitely feel like so proud of that.
Oh, you should be.
Mm.
It was really cool, like actually just watching you on the day. So there was around 25 of us, I think. You pulled that together in, I want to say 5 weeks.
5 weeks, yeah.
It was an amazing show. It got really good reviews. We all loved it. Like, even on the day, there was sometimes like questions of like, is this gonna work tonight? But just watching you kept yourself very calm, collected, and it's like almost this trust that like everything's gonna be good.
Yeah.
And you just got on with it.
Yeah. But that's because I think I had trust in me, but I had trust in you guys as well.
Yeah.
That were performing and like I knew that I was so proud that everyone had like put in so much work to make it what it was.
Yeah.
I was like proud mum of you all.
Yeah.
And I think like, and then also I guess, thinking about if things weren't to go to plan, like would it really matter as well? It doesn't. Because I think it is about the experience.
Yeah.
It's not about it being perfect.
Yeah. And we all had to tell ourselves that as well, right? Because some of us, like, I did a solo, which was so fun. We did trios and doubles, and we were all really nervous.
Yeah.
But I think that was something we had to remind ourselves of. Like, the worst case here is that we're going to go out and fall over.
Yeah.
And forget the choreo.
Yeah. And then is that even that bad? Like,
then everyone's going to go home and never think about it.
Yeah. People probably like clap for you when you stand back up. We're like, it's so like everyone who's there is there to support anyway. Like everyone that's in the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if anyone did have anything bad to say about it, then screw them, right? Because they're not really worth it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think, it's just sort of this like cool mindset of just really focusing on like what is the worst that can happen here and then just going for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think
and not worrying about it.
Yeah. And then I guess the more you, like Johnny spoke about this in the very first episode that we did, the more you fail, quote unquote, the more you do things and they maybe don't go exactly perfect, the more you're chill with it.
Yeah, 100%.
And I guess a question for you, Kirsty, is like, this is like quite a philosophical question I've been thinking about quite a lot recently. It's not a question of like what is the point in life, okay? But like that's very nihilistic. But we all ask ourselves that sometimes. But I think it's more like, what is the value to you in getting stuff done? And I say that in the sense of like, as somebody that came out of a very kind of corporate environment that was always focused on the next thing, getting the next thing done, move, go, like you don't really think. And then I kind of came out of that and I wanted to slow down.
Yeah.
And I wanted to just kind of sit in life. And it was almost, it was the pendulum swing to the other side of being like, not that there's no point in anything, but I wasn't so focused on the end product, the end goal anymore. And then actually what I found was I had swung too far that way. And actually it was starting to make me feel a bit nihilistic because it then was kind of like, well, what is the point in achieving greatness or doing hard things or overcoming obstacles?
Yeah.
Like there is such a point in that. But I guess like, and I'm kind of swinging, back the other way to hopefully the middle ground. But I think like for you, you are somebody that just gets stuff done so well. What's the value to you in that? Like, do you think you would go a bit mad if you just had to sit still? Like, you know what I mean?
A
You know
little
what I
bit.
mean? Yeah.
I'm not really one to sit still, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think and especially with things that I am passionate about.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what makes it, getting it done, also really easy, because it's not a drag. I'm not like, oh, I have to do this thing.
Right.
I'm like, oh my gosh,
I get to
I get
do
to do
this
this
thing.
thing. Like I get to, like, how cool is my job? Like I get to come up with like these fun dances, and like everyone here just feels like my friends, and I get to like hang out with you, and then I get to create these fun events. Like we've got a beach photo shoot coming up. The
Yep.
2 showcases are planned for this year and booked in.
Yep.
And it's like, you know, I have got them booked in now because I'm like so excited for it.
Yeah.
And it is that thing that, as much as I have to get it done, I just want to get it done as well.
That's such a good point.
But that's because it comes from passion. It's not coming from like I have to, which is very lucky. I feel very blessed in that sense.
Well, it is lucky, but well, is it luck? I don't know. It's the whole thing of like you've kind of focused on the thing that you want to do and you've just gone for it.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to be somebody else to fulfill other people's expectations, or trying to live life a certain way because you feel like you have to.
Yeah. And it is all comes back to, which is also what I want to make people feel in classes and stuff, is that like being yourself, your true self, is number one. And that will make everything better.
Yeah.
And bring so much happiness to you, because like you say, like if you're a type B, it is really hard to be type A.
Yeah.
And sometimes that actually will just make you miserable trying.
Yeah, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
No,
Do you know what I mean?
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And it's like, obviously there are some things that we want to like improve on to make life easier
But
in some
focus on
ways.
your strengths.
But focus on your strengths. And not letting that outside noise come in the way of being your true self. And being your true self will attract the best people.
Yep.
As well.
100%. It's just, I love that so much. And I can't remember who said this, a very famous quote, but it's like, if you enjoy your job, you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah, exactly.
So true.
So true.
And I think you're embodying that.
Yeah.
I guess obviously, I think what I hear a lot from people is like, well, I don't know what my passion is. I think that's the thing that's blurring.
I think that's where I say I am lucky.
Yeah, because you do know.
I do know.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
I think now it's like a lot of young people especially are questioning because now a lot more paths and routes are available, or kind of more easily accessible. So, but that's causing people to then be like, well, which one do I choose?
Yeah, I know. But I think also it is that sitting in that uncomfortability of like when you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then just being okay with where you are and and figuring that out. And I don't think it can be forced, unfortunately, as much as like that time can suck. Like that time that I was just like crying to my mum, being like, I don't know what I want to do. And then I like tried the thing and it wasn't even the thing that I wanted to do. But also everything will lead you to figuring that out anyway.
Yep.
As long as I guess you just keep your mind open.
Yeah. And also use the difficult times as the signals.
Yeah.
If you don't know, like I'm still in that phase now. I'm still like, I mean, I'm loving this project. I'm loving my jobs, but I know intuitively that there's something else out there. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Some days I'm like, what the hell?
I know.
But you got to sit in it and you got to use that as guiding signals as well.
Definitely.
And that it's not like that's, life is still telling you something.
Definitely.
If you're not enjoying the job that you're in or the thing that you're doing, that's still a signal.
It is. Exactly. And yeah, I was definitely, before doing my own workshops and things, I feel like I had found myself again in that place of being like, what am I doing?
Right.
Because I'm just like, I was the manager of a company. I had nowhere to grow from that. And then I think it was cool to just, I guess, take that step into being like, oh, well, this is actually the thing that I like doing. So I might just like dabble in that. And then it just went.
And then it just went boom.
Yeah.
And obviously for other, like this is the whole thing we're saying, it's got to be true to you, because for some people, they would have, say they were the, managing the dance studio, that might have allowed them, again, the boundary thing, they don't take their work home with them. They really love the people, they love the job, they get to go and they get to surf in the evening, and they get to have that, like some people would love that life and
100%.
that job. So it's also just about being like, I'm not going to focus on what I think I should feel about this certain thing, or like working in a cafe, which some people absolutely love.
Exactly.
It's like, it's just so important to try and listen to yourself, but it is hard.
Yeah.
Takes time.
It does.
Definitely. I'm saying that as somebody who's also trying to figure life out.
It definitely
does
take time.
That's so insightful. Couple more questions, Chris,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll wrap up. What has this past year taught you about yourself that you didn't know before? Well, aside from well, yeah. There's an inside joke there. Kinda.
I think the kind of, I guess, almost what we've already talked about, but the importance of being true to yourself.
Yeah.
And that can come with what you want to do in terms of your career, maybe who you want to be with in your relationships.
Yeah.
In all kind of areas of life. Yeah. Because you just absolutely could not be truly fulfilled and find and be so happy if you're, and like that totally does come with like a lot of work as well. I'm not saying that I'm just like, I was just always like this.
No.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, because we do have so much like outside noise and the comparison of everything and social media and everything else, other people's opinions getting into our heads and things. And, but being able to do that work, and I feel so lucky to have pushed myself to be my true self, to be that role model in this community, that is so important and has made me become a better version of myself, which is like so lucky. And that has changed my life in terms of, like separating from my husband and going through some really weird changes. But ultimately, that is just because I feel so confidently me.
Yes.
Which is so nice.
So nice. And that spells into everything else, right?
It does.
Yeah. It just amplifies everything. It makes everything else better.
It does.
I think sometimes I struggle with this. It's like sometimes, when life's going good and you feel good, and it's almost like this is a self-sabotage thing, but it's almost like this is too good to be true, or I'm going to sabotage this first so that I don't have to be like shocked when things, like whatever it is, right? And actually, it's so nice to hear you talking in that way, because it's so positive. It's so like accepting of like things going well and you feeling good and life going good.
Yeah.
Because actually, when that's the case, you can be a better mum, you can be a better business owner, you can be a better friend.
Exactly.
It's better for everyone.
It's better for everyone.
That we are true to ourselves and look after ourselves.
Definitely.
I love that. Last question. What advice would you give to somebody listening and watching today that has kind of heard your story, is really inspired by it, and really wants to build something true to them and something kind of creative like you've done? Like, what would your best advice to them be if you could summarize it?
I think if it feels right, then you just have to do it. Because I think and remembering your strengths.
Yeah.
And taking away that comparison from other people. And also being able to be proud of yourself and what you do and what you offer, and celebrate how other people do it. And then just be
Just do it.
Just do it. Just do
the
it.
best slogan to ever exist.
Literally.
Good old Nike. Just do it.
Just do it. Literally. Because, like, I guess, like, what have you got to lose? Like,
I guess define what you have to lose.
Define what you have to lose.
Yeah.
And be okay with that.
Define what the thing will be if it doesn't work.
And if that's okay, then why not?
About life and about yourself.
Yeah.
And then just do it.
And just do it. There's space for us all.
There is always space for us all.
Yeah.
I love that. Thanks, Kirsty.
Thanks, Amy.
Next year coming up for you, Kirsty was telling me before we started filming, you have booked your venues for your showcase in July in Taronga and in November. And the November showcase is going to be a 500 capacity show at Bay Court.
Very scary.
Which is
but exciting.
So exciting.
Yeah, so exciting.
For anyone that wants to connect with Kirsty on Instagram, sometimes it doesn't come up because it's got that underscore at the start.
It's so annoying.
_Bo_studios.
Yeah.
And literally just give Kirsty a follow and give her a message. She's just like the loveliest person ever and so inviting. And as we've been talking about, please just, if you are thinking about coming, like just don't overthink it, just book in.
Yeah.
Message
no matter
Kirsty.
where you are, like even if it's not with me, just like go take
just
a dance
go
class.
to a dance class. Like,
if you want to do it, just do it. It's just for fun.
Literally.
Yeah.
It's the best thing ever. So yeah, I'm so excited to see what this upcoming year brings for you and for Bo and for like the community and just everything. Yeah. So thank you so much for coming on and being such a good guest.
Thanks so much for having me.
All the love. Love your life.
Live your life. How do we even not say that?
You got the tat as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't see it, but it's there.
It's there.
Thanks, Kirsty.
Thanks, Ames.